Hi, Elaine.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. If you could just say your name and spell it out for me and give me your title.
Okay, my name is Elaine Spaker, Elaine Spacher, and I am the executive director at Tanglewood.
Nice to meet you. If you could just tell me how ticks occur in the Corning Elmira community, that'd be great.
Well, ticks are a naturally occurring animal in our area, and they've been around for a really long time, but they do carry disease, and some ticks do, and that's the ones that can be transmitted to humans. So if you get bitten by a tick, you could get sick. That
What
rhymed.
what exact diseases does the ticks carry?
Ticks can carry a variety of diseases, but the one that we worry about the most here is the black-legged tick, which is also the deer tick, and that can carry a bacteria that causes Lyme disease. And there's other ticks that can carry things like Rocky Mountain spotted fever and other diseases, but the biggest one we worry about in our area in the Northeast is Lyme disease.
It's about that time for ticks to really start popping out in the Elmira area. How can people prepare for the ticks if there's any tactics to attach that might keep you from, getting bitten or even just being safe?
Right. So yeah, I mean, ticks are pretty much, they can be out anytime it's over freezing. So we have already seen ticks in our area as early as March, sometimes earlier if you get a little thaw in February or whatever, or even January, you can see ticks come out. But generally, yeah, the biggest time that you worry about ticks is May through September in our area. And so the way to avoid getting ticks is there's a couple ways. Be careful about where you're going. So ticks like to be in high grasses, shrubby areas, wooded areas. So if you're in those areas, if you're hiking or that you're doing yard work or you live in an area that's, has that habitat, it's a good idea you can use, some pesticides on your clothing. You can use what's recommended by the CDC. There's actually a great link on the CDC to look and see which pesticides you should use for your body, but they recommend DEET. That's kind of a scary one to a lot of people, but if you can just put it on your clothes or just use it for when you're outside and then go wash off. There's a thing called permethrin. You can use that on actually wash your clothes in it, or you can buy clothes that are infused with permethrin. If you spend a lot of time outside, that will keep the ticks at bay. And then one of the biggest things you can do is after you've been outside, whether you're out with your dog or whatever, do a tick check. And we are constantly telling our campers, and we have signs all over Tanglewood, in our bathrooms and whatever, to check after you spent time outdoors, to just check yourself for ticks. There's places that they like to be. It's sort of like the warm, dark places. So like behind your ears and under your arms and in between your legs and the backs of your knees and in your belly button. Just give yourself a thorough check. And then when you get home, if you've been in an area with ticks, also you can throw your clothes straight into the wash them with hot water, and put them in the dryer, a high dryer for at least 10 minutes. If you're drying your clothes, it takes longer than that, so that's good. And those are all ways to sort of watch, make sure you don't get ticks attached to yourself. We also, at Tanglewood, everybody has these. I have one in my car, I have one in my house for myself and my dog. It's just a regular lint roller. But if you don't have time to go, if you're going somewhere like right after you've gone hiking and you're not going straight home, before you get in your car, because ticks can hitch a ride on your body and then hang out in your car and then jump back on, just roll your clothing off, everywhere. And then, if you have ticks, obviously you're gonna throw these are the sticky ones, throw the outside out. And I do this on my dog too. Every time he comes in, I roll him with this lint roller, and so he's not bringing ticks in the house. He's also on meds, but those are some ways to avoid getting Lyme disease.
How often or should a person use a lint brush to, kind of make sure that there's no ticks kind of floating around their body or on their clothes?
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear your
How
question.
often should someone use a lint brush to
How often?
kind of keep the ticks away, or to know if ticks are starting to,
Right.
attach to you at all?
So, I mean, I use it, say I go on a trail run because I'm a runner, or I go, on a hike or with my dog in the woods. Before I get in my car or before I go in my house, I'll just roll it all over. You don't have to do it, every time you walk out the door. They're not, if you're just going from your house to your car or whatever. But if you're someplace that's with high grasses or shrubs or a wooded area for an extended period of time, and you can't get in and throw your clothes in the wash, you can use the lint roller.
What signs should someone look for when, uh, if someone thought they were diagnosed with Lyme disease, or thought they might have been bitten by a TikTok? Are there any signs to look for?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you're doing the tick checks when you come in the house, hopefully you'll catch a tick, even if it's attached to you. If you catch it quickly, ticks need to be on the for 24 hours or less, in order 24 hours or more in order to transmit the bacteria. So the longer it ticks on you, the attached to you, um, the higher chance that it can transmit the bacteria that causes Lyme disease. But if you realize that you've had a tick on you for a while, or if you find the telltale rash, which is kind of like a bullseye rash, that's not in everybody. It's like 75% of people who get Lyme disease will have the rash. So not everybody, but if you, after you've had a tick on you for more than 24 hours, you monitor yourself for the next couple of weeks. And if you feel sort of flu-like symptoms like a headache or achiness or a fever, or there's other things, but those are the main things, and or the rash, then you should definitely contact your doctor. And what I would tell people that I know and care about is if there's been a tick on them for more than 24 hours, even if they don't have any symptoms, I make them give their doc a call, because sometimes the doc will, have things that they can do to help you, if you're worried about that you might have Lyme disease, but you don't know yet. That'll be up to your doctor though.
And is a Lyme disease something that you can get rid of, or is that something that you have to live with?
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but from the things that I've heard, I think that it can be, if it's caught early enough, it can be with with the correct antibiotics, which I think usually is doxycycline, that it can be taken care of. But sometimes if you don't catch it quickly enough, or there's something about your body that makes you susceptible. Some people deal with Lyme disease their entire lives, and they have a really hard time. So that's why it's really, really important to make sure you're doing tick checks regularly, especially this time of year. And I know it's a pain. It's like one extra thing you don't want to have to do, but that's totally worth it. It should become part of your routine, like brushing your teeth.
Pets are just like humans' best friend. So of course everyone's trying to protect their pets. Can pets catch Lyme disease, and how does one prepare to keep their pet safe?
That's a good question. I have, a dog and a cat, and they're both on medicine that the vet has given them. So, you take your dog or cat to the vet, and they can, give you meds for it. There's collars, there's things you can buy over the counter, but I've always found the things you buy at the vet definitely work better. So if you get your dog or cat on, I do it on year round, even though supposedly in the winter we don't have that many ticks. But if you get the thaws, they can definitely, the ticks are out, and the dogs can definitely get Lyme disease. I had a dog with Lyme disease, and it was paralyzed for like 24 hours, and took it to the vet, and they did a blood test, and as soon as they got her on antibiotics for a day, she was walking again. So yeah, dogs, and actually they have I don't know about cats, but I know for dogs for sure, they have a vaccine for Lyme disease too. So you can get your dogs vaccinated, not for humans, but for dogs.
Do you feel like with COVID-19 in place, do you feel like ticks are more likely to disappear because of COVID-19 and the relation to the pandemic? Because I feel like with COVID-19, that's been the focus for a lot of different people. But with the ticks popping up now and it being summertime, do you feel like the ticks and COVID-19 kind of coincide with each other at all?
Ticks have no idea COVID-19 is happening. They're doing their thing just like they would normally do. So, and I think actually we're seeing at Tanglewood, we're seeing way more people come hiking on our trails than we ever have since COVID started. I think people are escaping to the outdoors because there's a lot less to do, but also they realize the outdoors is a great place for mental health. So yeah, it's COVID-19 is not going to decrease Lyme disease or tick action at all. It just might increase the amount of people who come in contact with ticks because they're out there outdoors exploring. But outdoors doesn't have to be a scary place. There's things we can do. You just have to be vigilant.
What is your biggest concern with ticks and Lyme disease going into this next season?
I think that my biggest concern is what it always is that people are not going to, they don't either that one, they're going to avoid going outdoors because they don't want to get ticks and Lyme disease. And I don't want people avoiding going outdoors, but I also don't want people getting Lyme disease. That's could be, like I said, it could be a lifelong battle. So just, making sure that you're doing all the right things, the things that I outlined. And then I worry a lot about climate change and not only just Lyme disease, but other insect-borne diseases that as it warms in our area, our area becomes more comfortable for things like different types of mosquitoes and other types of ticks that we are only in the South that can carry different diseases that we don't have here. So as our climate changes, so does the fauna and flora in our area. So that's something to look out for in the future for sure.
Nice. Is there anything that you would like to share just outside of what you've already given me? Like, is there anything that you want people to know specifically about ticks and Lyme disease that, could be some pertinent information for people to take with them?
I think there's a couple different things. I think make sure when you're looking for ticks, you realize how small they can be because ticks go through four life stages from egg to adult. And the third life stage, which is the nymphal stage, is one of the stages that's more likely to bite humans. And they are really small. They're like the size of a poppy seed. And then the adult stage of the deer tick is the size of a sesame seed. So they're not big. So when you're looking, don't look really hard. And if you have, like me, I've got older eyes, I have to put my glasses on or have somebody help me just to look, places that I can't see because they can be really, really small. And there's good things in nature that are working on the ticks while we're not even realizing it. So don't kill opossums if, don't trap them and kill them. Some people do, but possums each individual opossum eats 5,000 ticks in a season because they eat the hosts of ticks, which are mice, like the white-footed mice, but also they're really clean. So opossums kill all the ticks that attach to themselves, or 95% of them. So they're killing ticks all year long. And rattlesnakes, which we have timber rattlesnakes in our area, and a lot of people are scared of them, but they're kind of a docile, venomous snake, and they're good for our area because they eat 10,000 ticks in a year by eating chipmunks and mice. And so there's things that are working out there too, but and there's things you can do in your own yard. You can put a 3-foot mulch buffer between your grass and the forest. That tends to help the tick, impede the ticks from moving into your grassy area. And I have no affiliation with this company, but we use these at Tanglewood. They're called tick tubes. And we put them out around our area where our summer camp kids are going to be, and they're non-toxic to humans, but they're really cool. They're like, because the white-footed mouse is the host of ticks, these little tubes just looks like a fake piece of wood, but it's got cotton in it that has permethrin embedded in this, so that you put this around, your buildings and such, and the little mice take this cotton back to their nest, and the chemical that's in the cotton kills the ticks on the mice. And so this helps. There's things that you can do that are, not toxic to you that can actually help keep ticks out of your yard. So it's not a lost battle. It just takes vigilance.
With kids, I'm assuming going to playgrounds and parks more often. The summer is almost here. What should parents do, concerning their kids to prepare or prevent them from getting bitten by a tick early on?
Yeah, so I mean, you can use insect repellent on your kids if you're comfortable with that, but also just dressing them, longer sleeves and long pants tend to help, keep ticks from getting places on your body, even though that's not prohibitive. But and then I use these on my kids before they get in the car, if they've been playing somewhere, just roll them on. And then before bath or whatever, every day, check your kids' bodies for ticks. I mean, if they've been out, playing out, in an area where ticks could be.
Wow. Thank you so much, Elaine. It was great speaking to you. You definitely gave me some great insight on ticks, and I'm new to the area, so now I know what to look for. Right now, I'm frightened, so I don't know if I'll be outside much.
No, I don't want you to be frightened. I mean, I've been a sort of a tree hugger my whole life, and I'm going to knock on wood here, but I've never had a tick embedded in me because I spend time outside, but I always check. So, and so you definitely you can avoid it.
So the most important thing is the tick check.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so prevent, and you prevent things, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Right, but then if you do get a tick attached to you, there is a good way to take the tick out of your body, and then there's a bad way. So you don't want the head part stuck into your body and staying there. So don't push it out with your finger. Get tweezers and get as close to the head as you can and pull it straight up. If you don't have tweezers, you can use a credit card and slide it under and pick it straight up. But tweezers are good, and they actually make things just for removing ticks. This is another company I'm not involved with, but it's called the Tick Key, and it shapes to get the head right under here and pull up on the tick. So it's important. And then clean the area really well with alcohol, and then look for a rash and symptoms. But yeah, there's things that you can do. If you find, even if you get one embedded, if you find it quick within 24 hours and get it out and get it cleaned, you should be all right.
Okay, just one more thing. In the apartment, in your home, your house, or whatever have you, should I get some type of spray to spray around the house to prevent maybe something from following me in the house or things like that?
No, I don't. You don't need to be spraying. I don't know. We are definitely not at that point. No, you don't need to spray around your house for ticks.
I mean, I'm just asking for me.
Yeah. No, don't do that. The less chemicals, the better. That's why if you do all the things like, use your lint roller and do your tick check and get your clothes into the washer and then the dryer. I mean, those are all things that don't involve chemicals at all. And like when I was 9 months pregnant with my son, and I was in grad school, and I was in the South doing some research, and I was going through a lot of ticks down in the South. Like you'd walk in the grass and the ticks would be like pepper on you. So I always wore long pants and long sleeves, and I also duct taped my sleeves and my the bottom and my pant legs. But I was like in the middle of a swamp, So, and that's extreme. So around here, like I said, you can use some insect repellent on your on your clothes when you go out, and then do your check when you come back. It's not, and just regular areas you don't really have to worry about. If you're in your lawn or whatever, you can check when you get in, but it's, where you live. If you live in the city, you're less likely to have a tick on you than, if you live somewhere country. But I mean, they can be anywhere, but they're more likely to be someplace rural and hikey, and
Yeah,
I still want people to get out.
You have me a little nervous here. I'm definitely gonna cut down on the cologne and and just take it easy. But thank you, Elaine. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for making my first interview a nice one.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for having me. I'm glad.
Yeah, for sure. And so,
welcome to the area.
yeah. I'm a little nervous,
I know. I told you about rattlesnakes. I told you about ticks. But seriously, I lived in the South. It's like all the stuff they have to deal with there. Like they have multiple species of venomous snakes. They have venomous spiders. They have multiple kinds of ticks. They have, mosquitoes that can give you lots of different things like that less common up here. So
Yeah.
you're safer here than you are other places for sure.
Okay.
Where did you come from?
I came from New York City. Well, actually,
oh well,
I'm from New York City, but I just finished grad school at Syracuse, so that's why
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't go out much, and I'm just not a fan of rodents like that. I'm just I gotta just
You'll be all right.
stick
I
and
promise.
move, stick and move. Yeah.
There's way more things to be worried about than, it's just, like I said, it's just being careful. If you know you've gone out somewhere where, you might have had ticks, you just check yourself and you're good to go.
Sounds good.
No worries.
All right.
All right.
Well, there you have it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.